Sadhana Panchankam by Jagadguru Adi Sankaracharya. A Sadhana Panchankam is something to be practiced. It is not to recite. So whoever wants a salvation, a sadhaka, must do this practice. That means sadhana. So in these 5 verses, he explained how a sadhaka must do this sadhana. It's a very beautiful one. Very simple. There is no logic. But just only we have to practice it. Because unless we practice we cannot get anything, any perfection. We cannot get into a daily routine. So here this Sadhana Panchankam also says like that. The Panchankam goes like this. Vedo nityamādhīyatāṃ taduditam karma svanuṣṭhīyatāṃ tenaiṣasya vidhīyatāṃ apacitihi kāmye matistyajyatāṃ पापौगः परिधूयतां भवसुखे दोषो अनुसन्धीयतां मात्मेच्छा व्यवसीयतां निजगृहातूर्णं विनिर्गम्यतां सङ्घं सत्सु विधीयतां भगवतो भक्तिदृढाधीयतां शान्त्यादिः परिचीयतां दृढतरं कर्मासु न त्यज्यतां सद्विद्वानुपसृप्यतां प्रतिदिनं तत्पादुका सेव्यतां ब्रह्मैकाक्षरमज्यतां श्रुतिशिरो वाक्यं समाकज्यतां वाक्यार्थ्यश्च विचार्यतां श्रुतिशिरः पक्षः समाश्रीयतां दुस्तर्कात् सुविरम्यतां श्रुतिमतस्तर्कोऽनु सन्धीयतां ब्रह्मास्मिति विभाव्यता महरहर्गर्वः परित्यज्यतां देहेऽहमतिरुज्यतां बुधजैनैर्वादः परित्यज्यतां क्षुद्वादिश्च चिकित्स्यतां प्रतिदिनं भिक्षौषधं भुज्यतां स्वाद्वन्नं न तु याच्यतां विधिवशात् प्राप्तेन सन्तुष्यतां शीतोष्णादि विषह्यतां न तु वृथा वाक्यं समुच्चार्यतां मौदासीन्यभवीत्स्यतां जनकृपानैष्ठर्यमुत्सृज्यतां एकान्ते सुखमास्यतां परतरे चेतः समाधीयतां पूर्णात्मा सुसमीक्ष्यतां जगदितं तद्बाधितं दृश्यतां प्राक्कर्म प्रविलाप्यतां चितिबलानाप्युत्तरैः श्लिष्यतां प्रारब्धं त्विह भुज्यतामध परब्रह्मात्मना स्थीयतां हरिः ओम. A very beautiful one, really. What are the things to be practiced by a sadhaka? It's very clearly, in a very simple way, they are explained in this. So in the first one, we can't neglect any of these. If we want to first we have to have the purity of thought and purity of heart. Only then we can go for such things. So here what he is telling first, so you have to perform the actions, and in that actions, so you never that means we must always talk as if our words are like honey. That means we must not hurt anybody. We must not hurt with our words. And in the same way, when we come to purify ourselves, when we are aware of what is the reality, then we will know from where we have come, and we will again wish to go to that place. Nijagruha Turnam. Nijagruha Turnam means actually in the mind, in the soul, in the Atma, we will always think that we have come from that place and we are to go again to that place only. So this world is temporary for us, and in this temporary world everything is temporary only. Nothing is permanent. So what is the permanent is the relation between God and we, us. And the final abode of us to reach is the abode of God. Next, in the same way, in the second stanza, what he says is that so Sangham Satsu Vidhiyatam Bhagavato Bhakti Drudhadiyatam. So actually in this world, what balances a person is the devotion towards God, devotion on God. When we have a devotion on pure devotion, that's what, not just a show. Devotion is not at all a show. When we have such a pure devotion, then what happens actually, first we adopt such good qualities like peace, tranquility, and determination, and all such things. So we'll be first we'll be introduced to such type of people only. And here, then what we do, whatever is told, actually, we must have obedience, faith and obedience. If we don't have faith, we cannot do anything. If we don't have obedience, also, we won't do anything. So the difference is that if we don't have faith, we cannot do anything, and if we don't have obedience, we will not do anything. So, whatever is told in the Shastras or the Vedas, Upanishads, all these we are to believe, and then only we will put them into practice. Next one, whatever is told in these Shastras, or we will just again self-analyze. So, Vicharyatam, Vakya Ardhasta Vichar. Vakya means not a sentence. So, whatever is, let's say that there are 4 Mahavakyas. So all these Mahavakyas or whatever is told in the Shastras, we only have to analyze it. Only when we analyze, we'll know the correct one. We'll know the absolute truth. And then we will have the notion of the physic, but we don't base only on the physic. Because physics is the gross level, and the other levels, the mind, the heart, then the soul, so the thoughts, all these are the higher levels. Physics only can be seen by the world, but the other things they are not seen. How do we know that a person will be very beautiful or very handsome? But how will we know that he has a very beautiful heart? How will we know that his thoughts are very beautiful? How will we know that his soul is so beautiful? Only by his words, by his deeds, by his thoughts, by his responses, by his obedience, so by his belief. So all these things make a man of integrity. And only then we will understand, okay, he is not only beautiful outside, but he is also beautiful in. In and out he is beautiful. So that's what he is telling. So Brahma Sthiti Vibhavyatam Maharahar Parityajatam. Then we will leave this egoism also, I sense. So we'll completely leave this I sense. because we will always feel that we are the instruments of in the hands of God, and we only do what He decrees for us. So when such feeling comes to us, then there is nothing for us to be proud of. So we leave the egoism. Next one, Kshuddha Disya Chikitsatam. So the hunger. So here this is one of the very beautiful one, because as Lord, that means Adiguru Shankaracharya. So Jagadguru Shankaracharya, what he said is, hunger he defined as a disease. It's a very beautiful one. Because for when we are sick, or when we are ill, what we do, we take pills. The pills are not sweet. Some pills are bitter, some pills are sour, like that, isn't it? But yet we have to take to get rid of the sickness. In the same way, when we uh, treat hunger as some illness or sickness, then we don't opt for delicious different kinds of dishes. Whatever we get on that day, we will take it as a prasad of God. Only then we can have that happiness. Otherwise, we'll be thinking whatever we get, whatever we have, we feel that something is less. So this feeling, if we have, we cannot also relish what we eat. So all can't eat that all types of foods every day. But whatever we get, if we think that it's a prasad of God, automatically it will become so pure and so delicious, so tasty. So what he's telling is, treat hunger as a disease, so that whatever you eat, just to fill the satisfy your hunger, it is enough. You don't opt for variety of dishes, or variety of dishes and many types of. That means you don't get bored whatever you eat, because after all you only want to fill your stomach. Next, in the same way, you don't long wish for always satisfying your stomach. There are other things which you have to satisfy. Satisfy the soul, satisfy the heart, like that. Next, another thing is solitude, what he's telling in the last one. Ekante sukhamasyatam, solitude. So serenity. In solitude we find the serenity. Then when we are in solitude, when we find the serenity, we will peep into ourselves. We will know what is the whole, the Purnatma. So Atma is itself whole, Paripurnam. So like that, then what we do, we never think of ourselves as less than anything, because we have come from the whole, Paramatma. And when Atma has come from Paramatma, let us take that Paramatma is a very big circle, round. And in that circle, we draw so many circles inside. So each circle, let us bring it out. Then each circle is again a circle only. So it's a whole. So what comes from the whole will be whole only, WHOLE, whole, Purnatvam. So in the same way, we feel that we are also whole only. We are not a part. We are not something less than the whole of Paramatma. But we are born into this world just for because of prarabdham, because of the previous births. And now when we are aware of this, automatically we will always think whatever we do, but our mind will be fixed on this abode of God. And that's the final abode. That's what he said. It's a very beautiful one, the Sadhana Panchankam. And all these are to be practiced by self analysis. Not that somebody says something, somebody is okay, we read this thing. No, just by reading, nobody can get anything. Just by experiencing, by analyzing, by knowing, by being aware of the truth. Only then can one understand all such things, because all these are of higher levels. So when we find so many kinds of dishes, why will anyone think that hunger is a sickness? But when you think like that, because suppose we take a boy and every time the mother will be preparing some one type of curry only, then he will say all the time, how can I? No, I don't want to eat. But why you are eating? To fill your stomach, to fill your satisfy your hunger. So if this means, if one understands this, okay, one day it comes in taste. The same hand may not prepare in the same way all the time, every time. So there may be some difference. So that difference also will be able to accept. So this is a love towards towards God, because He has given us all these things, and so we must be grateful to Him. We must be grateful to Him for giving us this knowledge, for being aware of everything. So just by recitations is sastras like stotras, it is mere waste. So this is a very beautiful sastra, which sadhaka must do sadhana. Harihi Om. On the eve of Shankar Jayanti.